Right, hello, welcome to this little bonus episode, I guess, where this is 2025 so far in terms of films and TV we've watched, not the world news.
Yeah.
Because that'd just be too long. And
there's not enough time.
yeah. Fascism's back, apparently. But just a little roundup of stuff that we've been watching in the year so far. Shall we start with the stuff we've watched together?
Yeah.
Which I believe Nosferatu we watched.
We did.
Like January 2nd, 3rd.
Yeah,
like pretty
literally
much
beginning of the year.
Yeah, as soon as it came out. Robert Eggers' fourth movie, obviously a remake of Nosferatu, which is a, shall we say, retelling of Dracula.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yes, good. Cool, next. No,
No, it's very. I mean, it's Eggers all over it. Like you can tell,
Yeah.
just from the way it looks and everything else, and some of the weirdest but most amazing sort of choices. Like,
yeah, it's beautiful shot. Like cinematography is amazing. I do love Eggers' kind of commitment to like language of the time, which you can see in things like The Witch and The Lighthouse as well. Like the script is written, but this is how they would speak.
Yeah.
And you do have to tune your ear a little bit to it. Fantastic performances from everybody in that film. They're all great, actually. Can't knock any of them at all. I think you pointed out, and I agree, that not big on plot in terms of it doesn't do anything different. Like if you know the story of Dracula,
yeah, it's pretty much.
it's that.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's like the names have been changed.
Yeah, but it's and like a couple of locations, but it is just the story of Dracula. It's a story we all know.
Yeah.
Not done anything different with it in any way. But fine. Like it's kind of, I guess you could say, playing it a little safe. But it's just a very enjoyable film. It doesn't need to do anything with the plot. It doesn't need to suddenly be like, oh, and it turns out, I don't know.
Nosferatu is really.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. can't think so. It's been a long day. Yeah, there's no twists in terms of the plot, but I can fine with that. Bill Skarsgård is terrifying, and Robert Eggers somehow has this ability to make the grotesque sexy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also the first telling of Dracula I've seen with vampire dong.
Yeah, like no spoilers, but you see cock. Yeah, Count Orlok hangs dong.
But yeah, what's her name? Johnny Depp's
Lily Rose
Lily
Depp.
Rose Depp is. I have to admit, I went into this thinking she's gonna suck.
Yeah, same. Yeah, honestly,
but
same.
She's really good.
Yeah,
Like a bit
it's
of
annoying.
a revelation. Really.
Yeah, not really. Before this, would ever say I was a fan of hers.
No.
Always found her face a little bit annoying, but that's just me. But no, she's fantastic in it. Aaron Taylor Johnson is brilliant in it. A lot of dispute a couple of weeks ago as to like people disputing like, is this character a good or a bad person? Who cares? Like it's,
It's just a person.
yeah, it's just a character, and an entertaining one, even if he is kind of a piece of shit. But he's just a never. Yeah, there's this whole argument that went on, and it's just like, it doesn't matter.
No,
Like, this doesn't
personally,
matter.
I think like all of the choices he makes reflects that. I mean, he makes all those choices for his family, for the good of his family.
Yeah.
It's his family first before these other people. Like, and that makes perfect sense, I guess. Like, if you,
But the counter argument is like, well, he doesn't even love her. He just sees her as a baby making machine.
no, I don't get that from any of that like at all. Like, no, I didn't see that. I thought he was really good. Like, and yeah, the character makes. I mean, it's realistic. I think.
Yeah, even if you think his character is a piece of shit, it's everything he does in the film is a sort of reflection of his character.
Yeah.
He's definitely flawed. But yeah, just Aaron Taylor Johnson, he was thoroughly entertaining in it as well.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm a ship man, damn it.
Yeah.
Explain it to me better.
And Nicholas Hoult does Terrified really well.
Yeah, Nicholas Hoult is another one that for a long time I wasn't a big fan of. It was the guy from Skins, the kid from About a Boy, which is a great film actually. But yeah, I don't know. There was just I don't know, maybe just a bit miscast for a number of years, and it wasn't until I saw The Menu,
Yeah.
is when I sort of kind of sat up and noticed him as an actor. And he's great in The Menu. He's great at playing that just that kind of piece of shit. I think they always tried to sort of cast him as like a hero.
Yeah.
And he's actually better at playing a piece of shit or in this example, in this film, he's essentially the damsel in distress.
Yeah, he's in over his head.
Yeah.
And doesn't know what to do. And he's basically through a lot of the film, he's dragged along by Lily Rose Depp.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was really good in Renfield as well. I don't know if you've seen that.
Okay, I have
Nicolas
seen Renfield.
Cage,
Yeah.
It's a throwaway film, but I like it.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Nick Cage is great in that, and I think Nick Holt as that character again, somebody who's been way over their head.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
great.
definitely. But yeah, no, I've definitely come around to really enjoy his performances. You did say at the end, when we walked out, as well, you said it's not your favourite Eggers movie.
It isn't.
What is your favourite Eggers movie?
I think I love The Lighthouse. Love The Lighthouse. The Witch is, again, I think The Witch is still better than Nosferatu. I think out of the four, I don't know, because I really like The Northman as well. It's a difficult one, but I think The Lighthouse is my top one. I think the others are interchangeable.
Right, okay. I think... I don't know. I think they're all interchangeable for me.
Yeah.
I do love The Witch, though.
The Witch is great. It's a fantastic film. That was his debut as well, wasn't it? So
I think for now, The Witch might be my favourite, but also I've only seen The Lighthouse twice. I've only seen The Northman and Nosferatu once.
Yeah,
So
there's something about The Lighthouse that I just adore. Like just the whole the two people like slowly going mad, basically, like, with the isolation and the dream-like sort of way it kind of moves through the story. Like at no point during that film I feel like you know where you are, like with anybody. Every scene could be taking place at any point.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely. And apparently, there's been rumors flying around about what as soon as like a director makes a big hit, everyone starts looking like, what's the next film going to be? Like with Nolan, everybody wants to know what the next film's going to be. With Tarantino, everybody wants to know what the next film's going to be. Now with Robert Eggers, we're in that same position where people just, okay, this was great. What are you doing next? The rumors are, it was originally a remake of Labyrinth. Now we're hearing a sequel to Labyrinth, and I don't know how I feel about this.
It's a extremely left field choice to do anything Labyrinth related.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I want to see it. Now it's been thrown out there, I want to see it. I didn't really take it as I kind of dismissed it as like a stupid rumour, and then they were talking about it on the Empire podcast that I listened to, and I was like, that for me is like clarification that if anything, it's got to be sort of moving slightly ahead. But I would be interested to see what he does with it.
I just don't... I think I said earlier, it's like, I think his talents are wasted on sequels and remakes.
I get this.
And I get that Nosferatu is a remake, but it is a remake of a 100-year-old film. Technically, there was another one 50 years ago, Werner Herzog. But yeah, obviously he would do his own thing. He would make it his own, and I'm sure it'd be great. Be like, I don't know, I just feel like he's got more original stories in him. Yeah. And I guess the sequel would be original story, but it's still a sequel. And I'm not a fan of sequels to movies like 30, 40 years after they were released.
And Robert Eggers with puppets. It's just...
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, moving on. The other thing we saw in the cinema was Wolfman. Mid.
Yeah.
Like, the trailer looked quite cool. It starts off pretty great, I think.
Yeah.
I was pretty like sucked in.
Mm-hmm.
It then just turns into a survival film and not a lot going on. The characters you don't care about. The werewolf makeup is shit. And what I mean by technically it's good, like it's a good prosthetic job, but the look of it is crap. It doesn't look like a Wolfman. No. Yeah, it was. I said I did a fucking TikTok review. This will have fans.
Yeah,
like it will have an audience, but no.
I mean, for me, I didn't. The more I've thought about it, like I came away, I was like, I didn't hate it.
No, I didn't hate it. There was just nothing I liked about it.
It's instantly
well, nothing I loved
forgettable.
about it. Yeah.
And for me, the biggest issue with it is it all takes place over one night. So there's no sort of like build up. There's no sort of suspense.
Yeah.
Like as to like his change or anything. It just all happens like straight away, like all of a sudden, and you're like, oh. And there's no. I mean, for me, it would have been a bit more interesting if it was like a gradual sort of change, and like there were things like various things like disrupting their relationship, their like the core relationship in the film and everything else. But it just literally takes place, I mean, over a few hours. And then all of a sudden he's the Wolfman, and at one point they put him in the back of their car and like, don't put him in there. He's going to bite you.
Yeah. Like, let's get out of here. Like, wait, you're taking the Wolfman with you?
Yeah.
What? Leave him.
Yeah. Fuck that. It just doesn't like. I think it was such a shame as well because it's Leigh Whannell who did the Invisible Man.
Yeah. So there was like a bit of hype about it.
Yeah.
I still went in like cautiously, but yeah, because of what he did with the Invisible Man, and he's obviously made films like Upgrade, there was a bit of like, this could be pretty good.
Yeah. I was after like the Dark Universe kind of imploded on itself after The Mummy. I was kind of looking forward to like, if Leigh Whannell's probably looks like he's going to be making like films with all of these like classic Universal monsters. Like, I'm here for it. I want to see it. And now like The Invisible Man was so good, and I was like, I love that film. So this is in my mind. I was like, he's going to do it again. This is going to be an easy sell. And then like halfway through that film, you're like,
Yeah.
Like,
did I tell you the original idea for it was? It's going to be starring Ryan Gosling and directed by Derek Cianfrance, and set in modern day Los Angeles. Derek Cianfrance, who also did A Place Beyond the Pines.
Okay.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, obviously we didn't get that movie. Yeah, we got this instead. But yeah, that sounded cool.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, it was very predictable as well. Like, there's like the twist at the end isn't a twist. Like, you know what it is. Like,
he's like, oh, really? Yeah. Oh, who's all that
like,
coming?
When it's revealed, you're like, yeah, okay. But yeah, it's a shame, really. And then it just kind of ends, and you're like,
oh yeah, forgettable. Yeah, this doesn't leave any kind of lasting impression on you whatsoever.
No, there's no performances that really stick out as well. What's that? The blonde-haired one, yeah, Julia Garner. That's it. Who's she in House of Dragon?
She's not in House of Dragon? I'm thinking of somebody else.
No.
Never mind.
So, Julia Garner, I like Julia Garner because she was in, what was the thing she was in?
Ozark?
Jason Bateman. Ozark, yeah. She was fantastic in Ozark. In this, like, the minute, she's like the wife in this, but the minute like you find out that they're a couple and they've got a kid, you're like, isn't she about 12? Like, I mean, she's a very young looking. Obviously, she's not. She's got to be like well into her 20s. But it's almost like she doesn't fit that role,
right?
Like and stuff, and she's not very sympathetic. Neither's he really.
No.
You kind of feel for the kid a bit, like the parents are a bit like not there.
Yeah,
But yeah, other than that, like none of the central performances were very good.
No,
so
never mind.
Shame.
Yeah, like I said, some people will like it. So I mean, I don't think it's in cinemas now. But if it pops up on like streaming, might as well check it out. You might like it.
Yeah,
who knows?
It's not long. It's an hour and a half or whatever. Like
yeah.
That's it.
The next thing we watched together was Megalopolis! Megalopolis!
Where to start?
I guess, I mean, if you didn't already know, Megalopolis, Francis Ford Coppola's kind of swan song, essentially.
Vanity project.
Yeah, which this is the guy that made Apocalypse Now, The Godfather, and so many great movies. And I mean, he's made... Even like his, obviously Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is like one of my favorite films. Even like his sort of more low key films, things like The Outsiders, Peggy Sue Got Married. He's made a lot of really great films.
Yeah.
He's made a few shit ones, definitely, but overall he's made a lot of amazing films. So this kind of passion project of his, which he's been working on for like 40 years or something, he self-funded it, so there was no studio involved. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And I mean,
the reason there's no studio involved is because they would have been like, nah.
Yeah.
They would have pulled funding.
Yeah. I mean, easily his worst film. Maybe the worst film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's up there. It's utter garbage.
It was one I'd heard things about it, and like because I went into this thinking, I love films. I'm a cinephile. Like I watch films all the time. I want to be the one that gets it.
Yeah.
And then I think we were like even 15 minutes, not even that, into the film. We're like, huh?
Yeah. Just every 10 minutes looking at each other like, what's going on?
Yeah,
What's
what is
happening?
this? There's no real plot structure. It just kind of jumps around. The narrative jumps around all over the place. There are whole scenes that go on for like 5-10 minutes that don't do anything to move the plot along.
No.
They're just noise and visuals. There are things that just pop up that have nothing to do with the film. They're just in there, like statues coming to life for no reason.
Yeah.
And then there's the central thing where Adam Driver can stop time
Adam Driver can stop time.
for no reason. This is never explained.
Yeah.
It's never really used to any great effect. At one point, he does lose it, but then he gets it back 10 minutes later.
For no reason.
For no reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't...
And the plot is just like... It does, yeah, what even is the fucking plot? There's a guy, he's an architect, and he wants to essentially demolish New York City, or New Rome, as it's called, in this alternate universe, or whatever the hell it is, and then rebuild it using this material that he's made called Megalopoli, or whatever. Megalopolu?
Megalodon?
Megaloboos. And Megalonanium. And build Megalopolis, this utopia. I don't know in what sense it's a utopia, because the politics are never really explored.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Like, I'm sure it's a very nice looking city, but how are you going to run it?
Yeah.
What makes it a utopia? And then you've got like the current mayor who's against it, and their rivals. But Adam Driver falls in love with the mayor's daughter, and the woman that's in love with Adam Driver decides to marry his uncle, who's played by Jon Voight. And the entire time, Jon Voight's son, Shia LaBeouf, who's shagging his sisters.
Yeah.
There's a lot of incest talk. He's constantly trying to undermine and kind of kill essentially Adam Driver, his cousin.
Yeah.
No idea why.
No, it's
never explained why he hates him so much.
Just hates him.
Yeah.
Just hates him.
And yeah, it's nonsense.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry fuck you if you think this is a good film, because it isn't, and you're just a pretentious prick. You are Adam Driver's character is incredibly pretentious.
Yeah.
That's you. If you think this is a good film, these people are just like, yeah, no, what you don't understand is the layerism and like the mise-en-scene really adds to this. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's one of those like if you try, I think even if you tried to come across as though you understood it and you got it and you knew what Francis Ford Coppola was trying to say, and you just sound like a wanker.
Yeah, and even if you do kind of like see some symbolism and stuff in it, the acting is still terrible.
Oh yeah,
it's awful performances across the board.
But the whole thing, nothing in that film makes sense. Like the bit where he finally does build a bit of Megalopolis after, by the way, a meteor hits New York or New Rome or whatever, and like for about 10 minutes this seems to be like a big deal. Then it hits, and no word of a lie, it just hits and there's a bit of dust. It goes poof, and then they move on, and then
Yeah.
like, it's never explored.
Yeah, it's a Russian satellite, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Crashes
It's a Russian satellite.
I would say like there's a shot when the satellite is crashing down, and there's like the shadows of people kind of projected up onto a building. That one shot was quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the Russian satellite crashes into the city.
Yeah.
It has no effect on the plot at all.
Other
It's
than
never
like,
brought up
Adam
again.
Driver builds a bit of Megalopolis in the crater or whatever, like the crash zone. And then like to show how progressive and how futuristic this place is, they go to the mayor goes to see it and stuff, and there's a walkway, like a travelator thing.
Yeah,
it's a travelator, and he's like basically like, you'll never have to walk anywhere again, and they get on it, and you could walk faster.
Yeah.
He's like, quick, get on, and the mayor's all like hesitant, and it's like,
Yeah. It's a travelator.
It would take you 9 days to get to the other side.
Yeah, to move across this city.
Yeah. It's just so, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's like this is the big kind of, technological marvel that makes it utopia.
Yeah.
A travelator.
At no point do you really see what the city looks like. You
No.
see the inside of their house at one point, and it just glows a bit.
Yeah, it's just this material Megalopolu or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's just like this shiny gold thing. And
Yeah.
oh god, it's horrendous.
Yeah, it's garbage. It's garbage.
Absolutely.
And
garbage.
everyone overacts so badly. Like there's not one performance isn't just ham.
Yeah.
Like Aubrey Plaza is in a completely different film. She made her own film, and like if I liked anyone in this film the most, it's her.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely go watch it. Like,
Tell us what you think.
Yeah, if you don't believe me, go see it for yourself. Have a laugh. Get a few buddies around, a few beers, whatever. Get high. Just watch it.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to make it good is to take hallucinogens or something.
Yeah. Right, moving on. Not released this year, but when did it come out? Anyway, I watched Alien Romulus because it's now on Disney Plus. I didn't see it in the cinema when it came out last year.
I went to see it in the cinema.
Do you like Alien Romulus?
I do.
Yeah, good.
I do like Alien Romulus.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not everyone's was into it. It's kind of the film takes place between Alien and Aliens.
Yes.
And the kind of tone of the film is right in between there as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's got like the kind of haunted house, very dark vibes, but also Space Marine kind of action as well. Yeah. So it is a combination of sort of the haunted house and the action movie. It does ultimately feel like another one of these films that's, it doesn't add anything to the franchise.
Not really, no.
It just kind of these characters' stories begins and ends with this movie. There are some there's some okay characters. I quite liked the Andy the robot.
I thought he was great.
Yeah,
and what's the name? The main.
Yeah, Riley, whatever her name is, can't remember. A couple of other side characters that were pretty fucking annoying. Couldn't wait to die.
Yes.
Ultimately, it does go for. It kind of sets up the story, and then it seems to go from set piece to set piece. Some of them work really well. The acid blood in Zero Gravity was fucking awesome. That scene was so tense. And it is, like most Alien films, quite scary, because Xenomorphs are fucking terrifying. Yeah, I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it, certainly.
I'm a huge Alien fan, and I do, like, it's been difficult because... Like, we've had things like the Alien vs Predator movies, which I fucking hate.
They are terrible.
They are bad. And then we've had like Ridley Scott's sort of new take with the
Prometheus
and
Alien Covenant. I liked Alien Covenant.
I like them.
Yeah.
But I like them as kind of separate films. I like that they take place within that universe.
Yeah.
But I don't see them as Alien films as such.
Right.
But it's always like coming into that franchise, like, because it is a beloved franchise, if you like, and it's always going to be difficult. But this, for me, like, the minute it starts, aesthetically, it feels like an Alien film.
Yeah.
Like, it's and it's got everything. There's a scene with a room full of face huggers, and they're trying to sort of sneak through it, and it's like, because face huggers are fucking disgusting. That would be my biggest fear. Like, I would rather die at the hand of a xenomorph than a face hugger.
Really?
That just, the whole concept of it, like, invading your throat and all of that. Nah, not for me. Fucking bite my head off. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I think that there's a few callbacks. I like the fact that they've kept the sort of the technology the same as in the original film and everything.
Yeah, so, it's like it's shit but modern. Like, it's a sort of it's science fiction. It's like sci-fi but shitty.
Yeah,
I can't really explain it. Like almost steampunkish in a way.
Yeah, there's a scene with a computer that's basically a Commodore 64.
Yeah,
and I like that because like the urge to like now to upgrade things,
holograms.
Like, just all of a sudden, it always takes me out of the film. But yeah, I think they did really well at keeping it in that franchise.
Yeah, definitely. I will say, actually, just remind me, like, spoilers by the way, the ending as a set piece is cool as fuck. That thing, that baby alien thing, whatever, looks ridiculous.
It does.
It reminded me of the stupid baby alien at the end of Alien Revolution. What's it? The fourth one?
Resurrection.
Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
Yeah, which also had a baby alien thing that looked fucking stupid. Yeah, it just wasn't scary. It was just weird.
Yeah.
It looked dumb. That's the only, like, proper negative I have about the film, is that thing was daft.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, because normally why did it come out slightly human? It's because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. Because I was going to say, because normally they burst out of people and they're just aliens, and this one was like, hey, I've got a face.
Yeah, no, because she was pregnant anyway, and then when she was dying, they injected her with the black ooze stuff.
That was it. Yeah.
Which is obviously a throwback to like Prometheus and Alien
Yeah.
Covenant. But yeah, other than that daft fucking monster at the end,
Yeah.
really, I enjoyed it. I
it.
did enjoy it, yeah. What else have you watched?
Oh, I watched Gladiator 2.
Gladiator Part Dos.
Yes.
I wanted to go see this at the cinema. Then some reviews came out. I was like, nah.
Well, I watched it because a friend of mine asked me to, because he was like, I'm not watching it till you've seen it, and you tell me what you think. So I was like, okay, no worries. So I watched it. Meh. It's as a standalone film, it's not terrible. I mean, it's fairly entertaining. As a sequel to Gladiator, fucking garbage. It's pretty much the same plot.
This is what I was talking about earlier. I don't want sequels to movies like decades afterwards.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like you just made Gladiator again, and you just changed a few things. The whole like he's the son of like Paul Mescal, who plays who cares, the Gladiator.
Yeah.
It turns out to be Russell Crowe's son. And you know that because the minute you see him as a kid, then you see him as an adult, and then Paul Mescal's just doing a Russell Crowe impression for the whole film.
Gotcha.
Like, it's just one of them. And then, like, some of the battle scenes are good. There's a bit... Now, we know that the Colosseum, they did used to flood the Colosseum, and they had, like, boats and stuff, like boat battles and stuff there. What they didn't have, because it wouldn't be fucking possible, was have sharks in this fucking water. And there are CGI sharks. The CGI is fucking awful. The CGI sharks it's literally one of those moments where you're like, what? It makes no sense. They would fucking die, like, immediately. It just wouldn't, it's not possible. And where would they keep them? Anyway, like, it's fucking stupid. They did have alligators. Just have alligators.
Yeah.
But, and there's a bit where Paul Mescal fights some baboons, and the CGI is so bad.
Baboons are scary, though.
Yes, they are. But these are so bad, like, the CGI is so bad. I tell you what it reminds me of. Do you remember I Am Legend, the Will Smith film?
Yeah.
Which is a film I enjoyed up until the point where the vampire things turn up.
And they look
then
terrible.
It just ruins the whole fucking film. That's what they remind me of.
Right, okay.
It's that bad. And then... I mean, Denzel Washington's very good, apart from the fact that he's just Denzel Washington in this film. Like, there's no accent or anything. This could be Denzel Washington from Training Day in certain places. But I mean, he's good for what he does. But again, it also feels like they got to the end, and then they was like setting up for this huge battle, and then the budget ran out, and then we'll just have two people fight. It's just not. Just watch Gladiator again. It's a much better film.
It'll probably be on some sort of streaming thing soon, like Now TV.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it, but yeah. I mean, I'm fine. Now my hopes aren't up, and I'm not essentially going to be paying for a ticket to see it.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it at some point when it's on there.
It suffers from a lack of like a Joaquin Phoenix character as well.
Isn't that Pedro Pascal?
No, not really. Pedro Pascal, I've got to be honest, Pedro Pascal seems pretty bored, like, through most of this film.
Is it Joseph Quinn and the other one?
Joseph Quinn and, some other
the
guy.
Emperors.
They're just a bit much.
Right.
Like, you know they're going to die at some point, and you just, like, get there.
Fair enough. Did I tell you about the silent movie I watched recently?
Oh, you mentioned it.
The Lodger. A very early Alfred Hitchcock film, which is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And it's really good, which obviously silent movies are not for everybody. But if you're a fan of Hitchcock and you've never seen this, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Stars Ivan Novello, of all people, who I did not even know was an actor. I thought he was just the musical guy. The plot is sort of very much inspired by Jack the Ripper, and this film was made only 40 years after the events of Jack the Ripper. Set in London, there's this suspected killer of women that stalks the streets at night. And it's, like I said, if you're a fan of Hitchcock, I'd check it out because it has many of his tropes in it, but you obviously seeing them in their infancy, in their early, like his use of camera work, which for a silent movie is very progressive.
Yeah.
When you're watching it, his obsession with blondes, his unfortunate obsession with blondes, they're all there. And like I said, not as you might know Hitchcock, but sort of, yeah, all of these like tropes and his kind of style, it's quite cool to see it all like in its infancy. And you could kind of see like where he was going to go, basically. Because it is, I mean, most silent movies are just, the camera didn't really move.
Yeah.
So this is very progressive. And yeah, it's cool. The only downside is there's obviously a couple of scenes where the original music was lost. And when they've restored it, they've put in a modern song to replace it, and it just totally takes you out of the film, which is quite annoying. You're like, oh, what? Other than that, I think it's like an hour and a bit long. It's on Prime. If you're into Hitchcock or old ass films, go watch it. It's pretty entertaining. It's atmospheric as well and spooky. Yeah, very cool. Anything else you have watched, Mr. Smith?
I think it's worth throwing in. I watched Joker. Folie à deux.
Oh yeah, another one that I was going to go to the cinema to see. Then the reviews came out. Decided I didn't want to spend my money on it. Something else I probably will watch when it's on streaming.
Yeah.
But I'm in no hurry to watch it. I've seen a couple of clips. It looks shitty. Are you going to tell me I'm wrong?
No. You know, you're right. It's a weird I went into it thinking it can't be that bad.
Right.
But it is. I quite enjoyed the first one. I know it got like a lot of fans for all the wrong reasons.
I like the first one. Yeah, it is a good film.
As a film, I thought it was very good, like a different take on that sort of character. This whole fucking second film, they were dead. Like the director and Joaquin Phoenix and that were dead against doing a sequel because they felt it didn't need it. It doesn't. I don't know why they ended up doing it. Like obviously money. But also, I think there was an attempt to try and be a bit sort of fuck you to the incels and stuff. But I feel like they overcorrected. Like this film adds nothing to the first film. It doesn't take the character anywhere. It doesn't do anything. And the whole concept of you got Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, who is nothing like the character. I mean, at least with Joker, there was similarities. With this Harley Quinn, there's nothing that's similar to the character whatsoever.
Right.
Which is a shame. And I feel like it was like, we've got Lady Gaga, let's put some songs in there. And then these just random songs, and these songs just appear like out of nowhere, and they're not very well done. And you're just like, just end. But there's a bit of courtroom stuff in there, and it just does nothing. It takes the fucking character nowhere. It does nothing.
Isn't the musical numbers all supposed to be like just happening in his head?
Well, yeah, it does sort of suggest that towards the end, but even you're just like, okay, but why?
Because he's crazy.
Yeah, I know, but there was other ways you could show that. But yeah, it just stuff happens in this film. I can't even tell you what the plot really is. It just seems to be, there's this bit at the end which kind of ties it to Heath Ledger's Joker, which I hate. I don't want to sort of spoil it, but I mean, you can probably work it out. But yeah, this thing happens at the end, and I'm like, oh, why? It doesn't
Fuck.
Yeah, it's Todd Phillips is the director, and Todd Phillips was very vocal about not making a sequel, and I feel like he should have stuck to his guns.
Or he's like, I'm going to make a sequel, but I'm going to purposely make it shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm just that, he's just that kind of guy. He's a troll. He's trolling us.
It's just not, there's nothing in it that's worth seeing, nothing that adds any value.
Nah, never mind. Last film for me anyway, again, released last year, now on streaming, and watched it, Civil War.
Oh, yeah, I went to the cinema to see that.
Gala movie, A24's biggest film, in terms of budget anyway. Kirsten Dunst, Nick Offerman is in it, and I really enjoyed it. I kind of I think it works well in terms of, all right, you're talking about a civil war in modern day America.
Yeah.
But it's not on a grand scheme. It's not, there aren't these huge, sweeping battles or anything like that. Because obviously, even though it's A24's biggest budget for a movie, it's still not huge. So the film focuses on a photojournalist, essentially traveling to Washington, D.C. to cover what is supposedly going to be the end of this war. It's incredibly tense in parts. It's scary when you consider the state of America at the moment. All the performances are really well done.
It's my favourite Kirsten Dunst performance.
I really enjoyed Kirsten Dunst in this.
And her character's name is Lee Smith.
Yes, yeah. I spotted that as well. Yeah, I get why it pissed some people off, because some people just can't see a mirror when it's in front of them.
Yeah. It does. It's been criticised for not taking one side or the other. It kind of shies away from the. I mean, you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't take a lot to figure out who's who.
Yeah.
But it doesn't go into the politics of either side too much.
Yeah.
Like it leaves it in a very grey area.
Which is kind of the photojournalist's job.
Yeah.
They're not there to kind of pick a side. They are literally there to just record what's happening and take pictures, and they are neutral essentially.
Yeah.
They're press.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it doesn't, like you said, doesn't go into the politics too hard.
Yeah.
You don't really know. It hints as to how this kind of started and why it's going on. But yeah, it's not a documentary. There's no kind of like, it doesn't start with in the year 2020, and then sort of go on to how this happened or anything like that. But it doesn't really need to for the purposes of this film anyway. Because
there's some fantastic scenes in it as well. Because like you said, there's no big sweeping battles. Everything's shown as kind of guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
Sort of like a lot of running around buildings and stuff, like small groups of people taking pot shots at each other. And there's a fantastic scene in the middle with the sniper.
Oh yeah,
where they're all just kind of, they don't know where he is, like, and they've got two guys, and you don't know what side they're from. Like, you just got two guys like trying to figure out where this sniper is, and the journalists are trying not to get shot, basically. It's fantastic. It's really well done. And my other favourite bit was what's his name, Jesse Plemons. Jesse Plemons. He is in the film for all of 5 minutes.
Yeah,
he's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
like. He's like, he's sinister. Like, he's very much somebody that's taken this war as his own personal.
Yeah, he's like one of the scariest characters in film in a while. And like I said, he's on screen for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
so
terrifying in it. I was impressed. It's not like, I wouldn't put it like up there as one of my sort of films of the year or anything, but I did really enjoy it. Definitely. Yeah, if you haven't watched it, check it out. Check it out. The last thing for me, I was just going to talk about. I'm currently watching, nothing new, but I've never seen it, The Pacific.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, for all intents and purposes, the sequel to Band of Brothers, which was nowhere near as successful.
No.
Even though it cost like twice as much or something ridiculous like that. But it's, so I think I'm 7 episodes in, maybe 8. They're on Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
Iwo Jima. I'm really enjoying it. Obviously it gets compared to Band of Brothers, which is pretty much one of the best miniseries ever made, if not the best.
Yeah.
It has its differences. I wouldn't say it was better or worse at this stage. It's better in some ways in that it did have a higher budget. It looks more realistic. The performances, I'm not going to say the performances are better, but they do that kind of trauma in their eyes, the PTSD. They do that better in this series because the characters have it throughout, and it's not like they go home and get a break. It's the way it's doesn't kind of succeed in the way that Band of Brothers did. Is Band of Brothers follows one group of men from start to finish.
Yeah, this
is telling the stories of a few different guys in different units, so it does jump around a little bit.
Yeah,
and every episode starts, unlike Band of Brothers, starts with a narration to explain what the hell's going on, and it isn't as easy to follow. And that might be just because, as Europeans, we know where Band of Brothers starts and where it ended.
Yeah.
Whereas these are islands in the Pacific, and you're a bit like, hang on, which one are they on now? What's that one called again? I thought they'd already been there.
Yeah.
So it does get a little muddied in terms of like the plot and how the pacing.
Yeah.
But fantastic performances. Again, like Band of Brothers, production is insane. Remy Malek is mesmerizing in it. He is
so good.
Another actor that, again, all right, he's a good actor, but he's never someone I've really paid attention to, especially after that fucking awful Queen movie. But yeah, he is fantastic. And he's not like the main character. He's not even in every episode. He's a side character, but every moment he's on screen, you can't take your eyes off of him.
Yeah.
He's brilliant in that role as the kind of, I mean, they're all a bit unhinged. They've all lost, but he's the one that's like almost comfortable in the hell he's living in, to a state where he's just like accepted he's now mad.
Yeah.
And everyone else just has to put up with him. But he's great. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I would say I'm enjoying it actually more than I did the what's it called?
Masters of the Air.
Masters of the Air, which again, really good.
Yeah.
But it is always going to be tough when you are comparing them to Band of Brothers.
Yeah, I do think, because I think the Pacific is a very not very, but it's a different animal to Band of Brothers, in that, like, as you said, like, you kind of get to know that unit in Band of Brothers, whereas this jumps about. I think Band of Brothers, especially the end, the last episode, has a much more emotional impact.
Yeah.
But also, like, yeah, the Pacific is almost on a grander scale. Like, but yeah, it does feel like you don't spend enough time with people sometimes. But it is. I mean, it's really good. Like, it's really good. As was Masters of the Air, but I think out of the three, I think Masters of the Air is the weakest one.
Yeah, I'd agree. Well,
it's still very, very good.
Yeah, same. Yeah, yeah, and that kind of, like I said, that theatre of war on that side of the world is obviously a little bit alien to us. Apart from when they're shooting in Melbourne, it's like, hey, I know that street. that's the tram stop. Yeah, and it is a bit like it's that the Pacific War, essentially, that side of World War II is not kind of ingrained in like our history.
Yeah.
So we know what happened in Europe. We know what our grandfathers did and all that. But that side of things, we had nothing to do with. So it's not like that side of stuff isn't taught in school in England.
Yeah.
And so you're still a bit like, what actually happened there with the Marines? So the Marines went, and then you're sort of like, yeah, it's not sort of ingrained. The history of it isn't ingrained in your head as much.
Yeah, that side of it was very much a US-Japan sort of,
yeah, essentially,
like battle, whereas we were very much like the Germans.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, yeah, really, really, really good. Really, really well done. Have you got anything else?
I don't think so. No. I mean, I've just started watching that Paradise on Disney Plus, which is very good, but it's a difficult one to talk about because you don't want to give anything away, and it's still on now.
Right.
But I would recommend it, so do give it a shot.
All right, cool. Well, that'll do, I guess. Last thing is, if you live anywhere in the south of England, 16th of February, The Lost Boys is showing at the Regent Theatre in Christchurch in glorious 35 mil. Get a ticket if it's not sold out. It was like, they were going quick. Like, yeah, we couldn't even get a balcony seat. What the hell?
Do they know who we are?
But we'll be there, and that's a Dirt and a Gate. What do you call it? Showing? Presents? I don't know. Anyway, that's happening. Get tickets if you're around. Definitely check it out. One, it's a great film, and it's always good to see him in 35 mil. Yeah,
any of those Dirt in the Gate presentations are great. Like, yeah, if you keep an eye out for them, because they showed some great films. And 35mm is kind of a lost thing. You don't see it that often, and it just feels good to watch these films as you would have back in the day.
Yeah, like we saw Trading Places, which we didn't talk about, I don't think, on anything, did we?
Yeah.
So we watched a 35mm print of Trading Places at Christmas, again at the Regent in Christchurch, and it was great. Obviously, that film is, some might say, not aged very well. In terms of some
there
of
are
the
jokes. There was a couple of jokes where you could hear the entire audience go,
yeah. Did he say a racial?
Yeah. But it's still a very funny film. It's a classic.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. We will be back at some point, I'm sure, soon. All right, bye.